So you're getting married. Are you going to live full-time with your partner, or would you prefer to have your own separate space where you can go to retreat, to decompress, to collect yourself and your thoughts, to center yourself? And in today's video, this little segment called Hot Comb and Key, where, you know, I do my hair, and this unit is from OMG Her Hair, and I have links in the description box. But we're gonna do my hair, and then we're gonna have a little key. So Hot Comb and Key. What do y'all think about that? If you want a new name, let me know. If you're new here, definitely subscribe. I'd love to give you a welcome, so let me know down in the comments. But this really had me thinking. I talked about this in my Instagram stories and got so many different responses, but I felt seen by so many of you, because we all identify sometimes you want to have your own separate space away from your partner because it boosts productivity. You can do more, you know what I'm saying? You have better clarity, especially if you're someone who's running a business, if you're looking into new ventures. Girl, with everything going on in the panoramic, a lot of people got a wake-up call, a reality check, that maybe you don't like your partner, but you love them, and perhaps giving you your own separate space can make all the difference. But definitely stay tuned. We're gonna get all the way into it. Again, all the details on the hair will be linked in the description box, but let's get into it, because girl, some of y'all were frying me up for no reason. But okay, let's get into it. So instead of just doing like your average hair review, I wanted to incorporate more like real, raw, uncut topics. I've been doing this more on my Instagram, and y'all have been enjoying it. So today we're talking about getting married, but living in separate residences. But you know what? It's so important to just like open your mind to different perspectives, different ways in which people live. You just start to look through a different lens as you get older, especially if you're in your late 20s, 30s. Girl, I did not have the same mindset that I have when I was doing crochet tutorials in my dorm room. Life changes, people change. But for the wig, this is from OMG Her Hair. This is their 16-inch deep wave unit, 150% density. The curls on this are delicious. They are popping. When I tell you, get into it, I can already see the big voluminous curls that I'm gonna have. And I'm also going to go in and do my customization, because you guys know I like to do customization on the canvas blockhead. I encourage beginners to do the same. So I went in, of course, used some water to saturate the hair so I can see what I'm working with. And this has pre-bleached knots. It is pre-plucked. It looks really good. You don't have to do a lot, but you know I do the most. That's just my specialty. So I went in to go in and pluck the hairline just to get it right. You know, this is when I started noticing this unit has like a widow's peak. So to the boys and girls who have widow's peaks, you have options. Get into it. And once I, you know, plucked everything to my liking, I also went in and did, you know, the little slick down with the wax and the hot comb. Okay, and speaking of hot comb, I think I want this new hair segment to be like the hot comb key, you know what I'm saying? Because you know I'm always using the hot comb, but like, what do you think about that? Like, let's talk about a name for this little segment. I think I'm gonna go a little bit old school today. I think I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the Got to Be Glued styling spiking glue. I just want to remind myself what it's giving, because you know, and this is the water resistant version, so perfect for spring and summer as the temperatures start to increase. When I put this on, I noticed that the widow's peak is very pronounced. It is particularly low, and the hairline goes far back, so I don't have coverage of my natural hairline, so I'm gonna have to finesse a little bit. Like I said, I am nowhere near the same type of person who I was in college. You know, I wanted the big wedding. I wanted a whole bunch of people there. I wanted my mother to make my wedding dress. I had all of that in my mind. But you know what? People evolve. And what I've learned is that you can love someone, but your, you know, idea of love, of a successful union, partnership, it changes. I don't need to be all up under you. I have been living on my own for so long, sis. I got accustomed to it, and I like that tranquility. I like that solitude. And that's not to say that it can't be achieved with the partner. It's just the way I'm set up. I want us to be able to have a house, to live together, but I also want us to be able to, you know, have an apartment where we can go and do our own thing. We're not always going to be in the same frame of mind. We're not always going to be on the same wavelength. We could have different vibrations and frequencies, and I want to be realistic about that, because I don't always want to wake up and look at you. Some of the responses that I got like really helped me to put things into perspective, because I felt like I'm not alone. Someone said if I didn't have to, I wouldn't. We would visit each other at night. Okay. Someone said they would live with their partner. Yes, live with partner. Someone also said, yes, I need some time from our children, our future children, and he needs to be there to take care of them. Again, that could definitely be viable and feasible within the framework or the sort of living arrangement that I have in my mind. So I don't know, I just kind of trying to understand why people didn't believe that multiple things could be true at a time. You can be a completely, present parent who participates in your child's life, but you can also have a living arrangement where it's conducive to meeting everyone's needs, even the children's needs, because oftentimes I don't believe that we take into account children's feelings and emotions and the space that they may need all the time. But someone said, nah, I've realized so much before getting married that it's important to have your space. Now, what a lot of people were talking about was you could have your own little like man cave, your diva den. Now, I did like that. The diva den sounds cute. But the way I'm set up, sis, you can give me the house and you can give me my separate space, like my own separate apartment, condo, you know the vibes. And based on some of the comments, I also got to see that some of you, the reason or the rationale behind you wanting to live with your partner is partially, maybe even subconsciously, because of you wanting to have a degree of surveillance over your partner. And it's not always what you are saying, it's the subtext of what you are saying. Some of you may have, and we all have them naturally, but some of you to a degree based on your experiences, your personal fears, you have a bit of insecurity about how successful or the longevity of your relationship can be if you are within a different space than your spouse. And I think what it all boils down to is great communication. I think we take for granted how successful two individuals can be when they can communicate exactly what their needs are at any given time, because they are subject to change at any given time. So it was just interesting for, some people to believe that the relationship will suffer because if you have an argument, things that are unsaid, you have a whole space where that void can just like thrive. But again, it goes back to communication and how much do you trust your partner to trust their ability to communicate with you. I mean, it's all about just like opening up your mind and like being real about who you are actually in a partnership with and their actual abilities and their capacity to operate in a way that doesn't jeopardize the health of the relationship, whether it be mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. We also have resources that we can tap into in the event that, we need that additional assistance, because again, what goes on in our life can change, and how we respond to that stimuli, those occurrences, it can also change. You get me? I'm always going to be the person who's trying to challenge you to see a viewpoint that may be different than yours, but again, we're respectful of everyone. But it also made me realize in reading many of these responses, I believe that we as a people sometimes succumb to the pressures, or we subscribe to societal ideas and norms of what we believe to be the ideal marriage. We start to subscribe to these ideologies, and we believe that if we are deviating from what has become the normative culture surrounding marriage, it's that we're at fault, or maybe marriage isn't for us. But it's about changing the dynamics, changing the framework, being open to how, there's an evolution of this sort, and it can apply to your marriage. It doesn't have to be conventional. And I think sometimes conventional is about playing it safe. And some people typically don't want to challenge, what has been mainstream. Do you know how many of my followers have actually talked to me about the fact that a lot has changed about their perception of marriage and their partner while dealing with the whole panoramic? And what another young lady disclosed, which I thought was so eloquently and just beautifully stated. I love how she summed everything up. You could be with someone for 8 years, but they're not the same person. And when I prefaced this discussion, I told you guys, I am not the person that I was when I was in college doing crochet braid tutorials. Now, to give you a little bit more on the responses I received, someone said, I am married and I right now could do with separate living, LOL. Someone said, Yes, but have a man cave in my special room that's fluffy, pink, and always clean with a fridge. I thought that was very cute. Someone also said separate spaces in the same home, sure, because time for me is important. Very much so. And the next person said, I couldn't imagine living apart from the old man. Yes, I have to live with my man. Otherwise, we're just besties, not a couple. Whoa, okay. So on to one of my favorite parts, you know, the adult swoops, okay? I mean, if your team baby hairs, that's cute, that's fine. I'm gonna be using the Got To Be Ultra Glued Invincible Styling Gel. Again, the spray that you guys saw me using, this was the Bedhead Mini Hardhead Spray. You could use this to install your wig all in itself, but I used, you know, this as a combo just to install, and then I'm gonna use this to do my adult swoops because you know we're grown and sexy. But if you got this far, definitely let me know. I would love to know if you are currently married, are you living in an apartment or are you living in a house? I think that can definitely, you know, change your outlook. It can shape how you view living spaces. And do you believe that you have sufficient space for yourself, your partner, and if you have children? Because again, having that space to retreat and decompress is so important. So I would love to hear from you guys. I know for myself, I would love to have a family and have us live in a house. That is something that I did not have growing up. We did a lot of apartment living, you know, moving a lot. So that's just something that I would love to speak into existence for my life. Now I'm trying something new. I wanted to give this a try to see how it is. This is the TRESemmé Flawless Curls Extra Hold Mousse. And you know I love a good mousse, so I'm just gonna pack it on the hair. Okay, the verdict is out. I love this mousse. I love what it's doing thus far. It smells so good. I'm using a huge amount of mousse because, girl, this is like hydrating, but it's also going to give you that hold and bomb curl definition, and it's giving me some shine. I see it. Y'all see it? Because it looks it looks so good. And if you haven't already, definitely check the description box for all of the products I've used, especially the Felicia Leatherwood brush. Let me tell you, this detangler brush is everything. Go support a Black woman. I love this brush for curly units. Okay, so the hair looks very different. Towards the end, I realized I did not like the curls being so close to my face, so I went in and just with a paddle brush, I fluffed them out to make them just super full and a little bit more distressed, get a little bit more of that friendly frizz that I like. But I'm feeling this look so much more. You guys could definitely let me know in the comment section what you think. But again, check out OMG Her Hair. This is their deep wave unit, 150% density, 16 inches. Again, all of the details and the links will be in the description box. Make sure you check them out. And if you shop with them, let me know your experience. I love hearing from you guys. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the conversation. I look forward to the responses, and I will see you in the next one.